It's the Josh Zodiac Podcast. Everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Josh Zodiac Podcast, the podcast that has no agenda and no real script as far as you know. This is the podcast that believes that the Sony PlayStation is far superior than anything that Microsoft and the Xbox has ever put out. And if you don't believe me, I don't fucking care. For those of you that are new to the show, I want to say welcome. Glad you're here. Please like, subscribe, and follow my pages. For those of you that have been here a minute, I want to thank you for coming back. I have noticed, looking at my subscribers and my views, that some of you guys, and I'm looking at you in particular, are watching but not subscribing. How dare you? Please like and subscribe and follow my show. That way the algorithm gets out there. I want more people to be able to listen to the show. And also comments, please. I want you guys to feel like you can talk to me if you have a topic or just want to let me know how I'm doing, please. I've gotten 2 on Spotify, none on Apple Podcasts so far, but I am hopeful. Before we get to the bread and butter of the show, I do have Charles Richardson back on the show. He was on the show the last episode. I'm having him on again. We're talking about the road to WrestleMania. But before I do that, I want to take the time to say a congratulations to somebody, to a podcast, I should say, that if not for them and their coursing and their motivation of me to do my show, it wouldn't be here. And I am, of course, talking about the Recycled Corn podcast with Ben DeLeon and Scuba Steve. They just recorded their 100th episode this past weekend. I did not get to see it. I was driving home from work and they are on a whole different time zone than I am. So I just missed it by like 20, 30 minutes. I caught the tail end of it until my roadcaster wanted to take a reset and update. But with that, I want to say to both Ben and Scuba, thank you. 100 episodes is a very cool milestone to have. It took you guys, I know y'all took a little bit of a hiatus there for a minute, but now you're back and going. Keep it going, man. I love listening to the content y'all put out there. And I love when you all have me on. It's always a good time when the 3 of us are together. And it's even more of a riot when we have Anthony on. So I want to say thank you. Congratulations. Again, there would not be the Josh Zodiac Podcast without the Recycled Corn. So again, I say thank you and keep on doing what you're doing. Now, before I get into the bread and butter of this show, I do want to promote my socials real quick. You can like, subscribe, and follow the audio, all audio. I don't do video, although I'm thinking after WrestleMania, I might drift back to the video. I'm still up in the air about it. You can like, subscribe, and follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search the Josh Zodiac Podcast. You'll find it. You can also follow me on Facebook and on TikTok. Just search the Josh Zodiac Podcast. I do post funny videos and memes just to keep you all entertained because, you know, I find a meme, I want to share it with the world. I think it's hilarious. And finally, before I get there, if you have a question, a topic you want us to talk about, or you just want to say, hey, I love what you're doing, keep doing it. Or if you want to send me a review saying that I'm the biggest piece of shit walking the earth, which would probably be my ex-wife. Thankfully, she doesn't have this email address. But if you just want to talk to me, send me a topic or whatever, just email the show at thejoshzodiacpodcast@gmail.com. I check it on the daily. I get a lot of spam. That's okay. But anyway, like I said, we were about to have on Charles Richardson. Got his name right. I fucked it up last time. We're going to have him on and we're going to talk about the events going into WrestleMania 41. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back. We'll blah, tongue-tied. Happens when your mouth moves quicker than your tongue does, but the ladies love it. And I can hear Scuba Steve going, you're full of shit. I can already hear it. You can already hear it. Anyway, stick around. We'll be back momentarily. All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. I have a recurring guest on the show right now. We've got the host of the Charles Richardson Show. I got it right. I didn't say right. I didn't fuck it up this time. We have Charles on the show. Sir, welcome back from you were in Orlando, you said?
I was in Orlando, back home in Port Charlotte, which is in Southwest Florida. So yeah, we're achy, but we're here.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking in Disney, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah, the last time I went to Disney was for 7 days, and it was before Avengers even came out. So that was a very long 7 days. Luckily, we stayed at the resort on the complex, so it wasn't that horrible. But still, that's a lot of walking.
Yeah, well, it's not the walk to the hotel; it's the walk through the parks.
Yeah,
I mean, we went for over the weekend, and one of the days we just went to Epcot for the fireworks. Just literally, we walked through the gates at 5:00 in the afternoon. We stayed for 4 hours for the fireworks, and I clocked in 13,000 steps. I didn't even go around the world.
Jesus,
so what the hell? Holy crap! So
yeah,
it's crazy.
The last time I went to Disney, I was like 100 pounds lighter. So I can imagine if I went now, I'd be like, dude, get me a wheelchair or something because I'm hurting. I'd be hating life. We're going to be talking about the events of Raw and SmackDown for the previous 2 weeks as we are still on the road to WrestleMania 41. We're a month away. Oh, hang on. I gotta WrestleMania 41. Yeah, that's more for the kids. So the first thing we'll talk about is the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns has returned. He returned on Raw 2 weeks ago, and he pretty much just pulled Rollins out of the ring during the cage match between Punk and Rollins, beat the living crap out of Rollins, and then beat the shit out of Punk while looking at Paul Heyman the whole time because Paul Heyman was kind of helping Punk. And then on SmackDown, we had all three men in the ring and Paul Heyman, and then all hell broke loose. I'm curious. I know they're setting up a triple threat match between these three men. My question is, should it be a triple threat or should it be just Rollins and Roman since they're the ones that have the real beef?
But where do you put CM Punk?
See, and
it's almost like a WWE setting it up to fail because it's like if you go ahead and not do this triple threat, what's the purpose of having Punk in there?
Yeah.
The only thing I see is Punk does a swerve where we finally get this favor from Paul Heyman and put him in the championship match that headlines WrestleMania. Whether it be Gunther's, Jey Uso, or I don't think they're going to mess with Cody Cena.
No.
Or it could be have both those title matches at the same night and then have one of them battle it out again against Punk as a special favor from Paul. But it's almost to the point where it's like, no, I think this is going to be a triple threat because all three people have beef. All three people have beef with each other, and it's just manifested into this one big dumpster fire that just needs to be doused really quickly. And Paul Heyman being in the middle between Punk and Roman, I think actually works out better than Roman Seth. To be honest with you, I like the Punk Roman matchup a lot better because it's kind of like, hey, who's the wise man or the Paul Heyman guy?
Yeah.
Who's going to be siding? It's like, Paul Heyman takes the winner or stabs one of them in the back or something like that. You're just, kind of sort of like, or maybe Lesnar just comes in, beats the hell out of everybody. Paul Heyman walks out with Lesnar. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go about it. And I know Lesnar's having legal issues with WWE, so I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see Brock making a comeback on this particular WrestleMania. Thing,
but the storyline's leading up to a three-way, and if it's anything less than a three-way, I think we've been lied to.
And that's the thing, though. I know that Punk is owed a favor from Paul Heyman. and my initial thought was, okay, they're probably going to put him in the Cena Rock match in some form or fashion. That was my first thought. But as this is going on, I'm like, well, he's already going to have The Rock in his corner anyway. So he doesn't really need any help from somebody else. But, and even then, like I said, Roman and Seth have legit beef for what happened, like a decade ago when he turned his back on the Shield. The only beef that Roman really has with Punk is that they're kind of sharing the same manager. That's the only beef. And we tend to forget that in the 80s, it wasn't uncommon for like someone like Jimmy the Mouth of the South having like 4 different clients, and you never saw them fighting each other. They were ended up being like a Survivor Series type of thing going on. So,
yep.
So
you take a look, but you take a look at that aspect. It's like Paul really isn't a Jimmy of the South, because Paul, whenever you've seen him managing a wrestler, it was never multiple clients.
That's true.
I mean, maybe he was like kind of sort of the wise man and then the advocate maybe when Roman was off camera, but you never saw him coming out and like portraying like 2 or 3 guys. Now that is an interesting way to go about it. We got the Paul Heyman faction with Punk and Reigns, if that was the case.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a triple threat, that's good. But the question at that point is who the fuck goes over, because there's legitimate beef between Seth and Punk, not just in the ring, but it's in the locker room, And I heard the interview on Chris Enfleet's podcast where Seth was like, well, he just fucking took his ball and went home. I'm like, well, he wasn't happy. I would have left too. And I heard his Colt Cabana interview podcast back when he left. There's a lot of shit that was going on under the Vince McMahon era that just was not cool. And I'm surprised he didn't leave sooner. So that being said, the only person that really has beef is Seth. And Seth was like a big brother leaving for the military or something and leaving him behind. It's sour grapes, and he needs to get the fuck over it already. But it's like I said before, a triple threat, who the hell is going to win? If it even comes to that, who is going to win this match?
Yeah, I don't know who you go ahead and go over. Like, who has the better storyline going forward? I mean, you could literally put Punk with anybody, and he'll work well with anybody. Rollins, I think, his back issues, I think he's more set for part-time anyway. So I wouldn't think Rollins would go over. I think it really comes down to the tribal chief and CM Punk, even though that's not really the main storyline. I get what you're saying. There is some real beef between Seth freaking Rollins and CM Punk.
Yep.
But actually, I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to either Punk going over or Roman going over. I don't see Seth going over.
Yeah, and my thing, too, is that Roman had his, 3-4 years of going over. I think his time has kind of come to not to a stop, but it's definitely slowing down. He was the face during the pandemic years. He was kind of the guy in the front, and I think it's time for somebody else to have that kind of spotlight. And I can't think of any better than Punk. And I kind of want to see a Punk heel turn. I really do. But then again, I want to see a Cody heel turn too, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So
that's gonna be too many heel turns.
Yeah, agreed. That's why when a Cena heel turn is an equivalent of 4 by itself. So it's like, dude, people didn't see it coming. Personally, I'm like, it's coming. I just thought it would happen later, like at WrestleMania. Excuse me. I didn't think it would happen at Chamber. So my reaction to that was, oh, they pulled the trigger early. Okay, let's see where we go with this. And we'll talk about the Cena, the first Cena promo in a minute. But if you had to make a prediction on if it was a triple threat, you would pick either Roman or you would pick Punk as your going over?
Overall, if I was a betting person, I would probably go ahead and say Punk.
Yeah,
because I think you're right. I think it's his time to shine. Roman hasn't. Well, he's been relevant, but he hasn't really had the main stage since WrestleMania 40, really. If you want to be truly honest about it, and WWE has thrived and survived and everything like that.
Yeah,
I mean, so we got all these other characters that are coming up that are being chanted, and Roman, everybody's got to chant OTC, YTC, WBCT, whatever the initials he wants to use. But yeah, eventually he's going to get the chance. But I think Punk, I think it's his time to shine at WrestleMania.
Me personally, I chant YMCA. I just like to keep it old school. But all right, we'll move on to our next topic. And that is, we have a new United States champion in the name of L.A. Knight. Yeah. Now,
wasn't he champion already before?
I was okay. That's where I'm going with this. Is that he dropped the title to Shinsuke like a month ago, and Shinsuke did nothing with it. Like absolutely, it reminded me of the Logan Paul U.S. title run, except he did less than Logan Paul did, which should tell you something. Now, I know Shinsuke has had some personal issues. His brother is having some health issues, and his contract is set to expire later this year. So, and they may not even renew it. Now, I know we'll get to that in a second, but I feel like they shouldn't have dropped it to Shinsuke at all. How do you feel about, should LA have kept the title, or should he have dropped it and then got it back?
I'm not upset with Knight dropping the title, because Shinsuke, this dark Shinsuke, I kind of liked the angle and a bad guy having some gold around his waist, besides Gunther. But this one, the problem with Shinsuke is the in-ring promo. You don't have it. You have a lot of recorded. You have a lot of translations. It's like it doesn't work very well. I mean, you get a lot of people going ahead and speaking Spanish and Russian and German and whatever, and it's like all over the place. I'm like, what the hell are they saying? I have no idea what they're saying. So hopefully somebody else does.
Yeah.
But it's like you do have other people speaking another language, even with the ladies from Japan. They're speaking another language and stuff like that. Shinsuke didn't really portray any of that. He like you mentioned, he did nothing with it really. Yeah. It was always been the Shinsuke LA Knight saga. Shinsuke took on no new competitors. There just wasn't a story there for whatever reason. And if there was some outside factors that might be boiling down for him being limited on TV, I get it. But I was really looking forward to. I really liked the Shinsuke dark guy, the evil guy. I like Shinsuke like that.
Yeah, I agree. But like you said, though, he did nothing with it. Like, he didn't really wrestle anybody for it. It was just pretty much, we're going to have a number one contender, and whoever wins gets the match. And then at that point, you're like, well, I can kind of predict what's going to happen here. Elliot's going to get it back a second time, and then they're just going to kind of have Shinsuke kind of fall in the back, kind of slowly just disappear. Because, when he was in NXT, he was awesome. He was great. And then when he made that jump to the main roster, I think it was 2018 when him and Asuka both won the Rumble respectively, and they both lost at the same Rumble. And I'm still upset about that Asuka match, because Asuka at that point was like 200. She had a Goldberg-esque like win streak going on.
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
And what happened? Charlotte puts her in the figure 8 and she tapped. And I'm like, dude, I turned off my TV and I walked away. I'm like, I am not watching the rest of the show. I was that pissed off. And that, for me, that solidified my hate for Charlotte, because I'm like, okay, I get it. She's Ric Flair's kid. I totally get that. But
I don't get it. I don't care if you're Ric Flair.
I agree.
Look at The Rock and look at his daughter. She's running NXT or was running NXT. It's like, where is she? She's supposed to be this highlight or something like that. No, I don't care whose kid you are. You need to go ahead and she got this cheap pop because of the woo.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, she's a great athlete. I get it, and that's why she's had so many matches and so many titles. She has a charisma that she could be a face or a heel.
Yeah,
she has that. So she does have that ability, but I just hate her freaking guts.
And that will segue us to our next topic. Speaking of Charlotte Flair, Tiffany and Charlotte have their match at WrestleMania.
Yes.
And we will not talk about Charlotte winning that Rumble, because that shit still pisses me off. But 2 weeks ago, they pretty much fought for like 10 minutes straight, to the point where they interrupted Miss TV, and then Tiff did a moonsault off the top of the Titantron, which was fucking beautiful. Like, no, I've seen a lot of moonsaults watching wrestling, and there is none more prettier than hers. And then they had this past Friday, they had the interview in two separate parts of the arena, and they made Tiffany look like she just didn't know what she was doing, and they made Charlotte look like she was just sitting on a mound of gold. Now, my thing is this, all of this that's going on with Tiffany and Charlotte, is it too little too late? Because up until that point, I'd kind of forgotten about it.
No, I haven't forgotten about it. And the thing is, I think with everything else going on, to be honest with you, it has been kind of pushed to the side a little bit. But listen, we're still a couple weeks away from WrestleMania. There's still time.
Oh, of course.
There's still time to go ahead and reignite a spark that's may have been dimming. But I do think this is going to make Charlotte to be the heavy. She's going to be the one that's going to hold all the momentum going in. And that's where Tiffany just goes to Tiffy time mode. And I think this time Charlotte is going to put Tiffy over at WrestleMania. And Tiffy is going to go ahead and lead this. Now, hopefully, and this is biased, hopefully this is Charlotte's last match. Goodbye. Or goodbye for good. Get that knee really healed or something. And then maybe come back. But she needs to go away. I don't know why she even came back in the first place. Women's division's been stronger than ever.
Oh, agreed, 100%.
I don't understand why, unless it's like, we need star power at WrestleMania, which I don't understand why I don't think they needed it.
I mean, I get it. There are people in the world that do like Charlotte. Those are people that have really poor taste. But at the same time, it's like she's riding the coattails of her dad. Her fucking theme song is almost identical to what his was. It's just a little poppier.
They changed it a little bit.
They've changed it a little bit over the course of the years, but if you think about it, though,
the background is it's
still all that. I'm like, whatever. But if you think about it, though, Tiffany and Charlotte have very similar beginnings. Granted, they knew about the business, but they didn't have any real training, and they just did it on a whim, and both excelled. I think Tiffany. The credit to Tiffany, I think I respect her move more than Charlotte's, because with Charlotte, I'm Ric Flair's kid. Oh, come on, let me hold this door for you. Come on in. Here's 14 title reigns for you. Tiffany, which by the way, 7 of those happened in 1 year. So between her and freaking Sasha Banks.
It kind of tarnishes a little bit.
It does.
You have 14 title runs, but you lose 7 times in the whole year.
Yeah.
Isn't that 6-5 or 6 too many rematches?
And it's funny. I hear people talk about, Cena had 16 title reigns. I'm like, he did that in a course of 24 years. Yeah. That is over a year and a half in between title runs. That's more impressive than a month or 2 months. Right. But to be fair, though, that's back when the women's division wasn't what it is now. There was one belt. And at the time, I think Becky was hurt or something. So it was Sasha and it was Charlotte. And that was pretty much all you had. I don't think Bayley had come up yet at that point. So I don't know.
If she did, I don't think she was ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
She was still the hugger.
Yeah. I missed the hugger Bayley. But this new Bayley, though.
I kind of dig the role model.
The role model Bayley came with a big old badunk, and I'm totally for that. So. That or she always had it was just very well hidden. Like, I'm a hugger, but you can't see my butt. So, but now I know they haven't announced all the matches yet. We still have a month until we get to that point. But do you see Tiffany going over in this particular match?
Yeah, I do. I see Tiffany. Obviously, I think Tiffany pulls a kind of John Cena-esque type match where she's getting the crap beaten out of her, pulling all sorts of moves, and Charlotte goes ahead on an ego trip, starts posing, wooing, and everything like that, and all of a sudden Tiffany gets the energy back, gets one couple of moves, and hits her finisher, and it's over with.
We can dream, though.
I really think, and I think she may even kick out of the figure 8.
Ooh, I don't think anybody's ever gotten out of that move.
I think there's been one person,
One or
I,
two,
I
maybe,
honestly,
but
I do think that there's going to be some new things to pop up. You can't have WrestleMania and not have something new or unexpected happen.
that's very true. And especially the Monday after WrestleMania. Oh,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be
And
it's going to
you're
be
gonna have
nuts.
who's going to return then?
Yeah.
Who?
And it's in Vegas too, so anything can happen. Speaking of women's matches, the other women's title match.
It is made official, by the way. Reigns, Punk, and Rollins is in the triple threat.
Oh, it is official?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
I see it made official.
All right, cool. I must have missed that. We have a new women's champion on Raw in Io Sky.
Yes.
Take it as you will. I think Rhea just dropped the ball, took her eye off the prize. And Io Sky was able to come out on top. But they had
always on top.
I'm sorry?
But Mommy's always on top.
Well, now, according to Becky, now she's the bottom. So, as you can tell, I love Becky. I miss her. I want her to come back so fucking bad already.
You see her Monday after WrestleMania.
You never know.
Yeah.
Or you know what? She could be the deciding factor in that triple threat match. With
no,
maybe
wait.
We could see AJ come out. AJ and Becky come out. You never know. Just saying.
Maybe. Okay.
Spitballing off the top of my head.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, big time. They had the contract signing this past Monday on Raw, and of course Rhea had to come out and do her thing. They had already signed the contract, so everything was official, and then they start fighting in the ring, and Rhea, which I think it's brilliant, but I think it's kind of chicken shit at the same time. It's very heel, but it's very babyface. She signs the contract and then keeps it for herself. It's like, my name's on the contract. I'm in the match. How do you feel about her doing that? Because that's brilliant, but also kind of like, really?
So in storyline mode, Adam Pearce does go ahead and state, just because your name's on the contract doesn't make you a part of this match. Put me in the match. I mean, she's over here yelling in Australian talk, which turns me the fuck on. Put me in the fucking match.
Now you know why I like Becky.
Yeah. But, oh, yeah, the Irish last kicker. But, yeah, and so in storyline mode, it is made very clear that her name does not signify that she's part of the match. Now, I think what we'll probably see in Raw is more interference or more disruption from Rhea to make this a triple threat, and I don't know if that will happen or not. It could be a coincidence of we may see two matches. We may see Io and Bianca one-on-one, and then we'll see Sunday Rhea versus the winner.
I don't see it. It would just make more sense to do a triple threat match. But my thing is,
it would, yes.
But my thing too is, if they're gonna do that, might as well just make it a triple threat at that point. You know, just don't do two matches, make it one. But my thing is, if
a ladder match,
a triple threat ladder match would be interesting.
Yes.
But my thing is, if Io ends up losing the title, then why did you drop it to her in the first place? It makes zero sense to give it to either Bianca or back to Rhea. If Io has it, she's got it for a while.
So, I see what you're saying. In all logical, in logic WWE sense, storytelling sense, you win the title, you don't necessarily lose it the next week or two or whatever. I get it. But LA Knight, Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is Triple H's way of thinking, and I do see Io coming out of it.
Yeah,
I do see Io coming out of it with the belt. But I see Io coming out of it with the belt with interference from Naomi.
Yeah,
I don't think that trio is done at all. And I think for walking out on Naomi, because of the whole Jade thing, I think Naomi wants to go ahead and get her, 15 minutes of fame there as well, and that's
Yeah.
going to cause some interruption. And EO comes out with it. I just really hope it doesn't end up in a disqualification. I think that's going to be a whole big boner kill.
Well, triple threat is no DQ, so it can't end a DQ anyway. So it should be
So
okay.
if they do, so like you mentioned, so if they do make it a triple threat, no DQ,
Yeah.
Jade, Naomi going to interfere. They all have a brawl outside. So she's taken out. Now it just becomes Io and Rhea, and Io puts Rhea in her place after some distraction somewhere else.
Yeah. See, and I think too, and I'm going to call it now. We're going to see a Bianca Belair heel turn. We're going to see that happen. The Jade, Naomi, Bianca triangle is nowhere near over yet. And when Naomi was like, I did it for you. I don't know why, but my mind went back to 2000, 2001 when Rikishi was like, I did it for The Rock. And it's funny because she's married to one of his kids. So that made it even funnier. I'm like, wow, they went full circle with that.
Yeah.
So I don't think this story between those three women is not over yet. I think there's a piece of the puzzle that we don't know yet. I think Naomi is covering for Bianca.
So I'm just making sure I understand correctly. You're saying Bianca's turning, teaming back up with Naomi, taking on Jade, and whatever.
I don't know about all that, but I do know that I think that Bianca had a bigger role in this than what we've seen. I think Naomi is just covering for her because Naomi genuinely wants her to be her tag team partner, her friend. She was pushed to the side when Jade showed up. So I could see why there would be that. Naomi being the one that did it, it makes perfect sense, but it's too obvious.
That'll be
that, or there's another person that we don't know about. That's
much better tag team partner than Naomi would ever be.
Yeah, but I think Bianca's the one that did it. I think we're going to see some footage come up in the next couple of weeks that's going to show that it was Bianca the entire time. She makes the heel turn.
I think the footage, if it's going to come out, and if they do go that way in the story,
yeah.
Oh, there's other footage. No, I think that's BS. Listen, you already took you 4 weeks to find this footage. Now all of a sudden there's more footage.
Or it could be you could do it to like there was a fan that was doing a meet and greet and was still back there and got footage, and it took them a while to track him down. They could do that. Yeah, or I thought I deleted it, but it was in my cloud.
It's still a little cheesy.
Yeah, it really is.
WWE's done worse, but not during Triple H's. We'll see how Triple H does.
I mean, they've done cheesier than that before. So, excuse me, it wouldn't shock me if they did.
I'll disagree with you. I don't see a Bianca heel turn. I think Bianca's going to be torn between the two.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's going to be a heel turn. I think she's just going to be conflicted of what to do, whose side to be on.
Yeah,
and I think both of them are going to say it's me or her. And
yeah.
So I don't know about a heel turn. I think it's just going to be peer pressure. And it's going to be the one that costs the title. And whoever costs her the title is the one she's not going to side with.
Yeah. But then again, Jade, and even in AEW, she was prone to hurting people. I mean, I know she's not doing it on purpose, but she's way too powerful than she knows. And that's why they wrote her off. I think that's why they wrote her off for a while. They wanted her to kind of work on her skill, and she's gotten better. And even in AEW, she had the same problem. But I don't know. I mean, this storyline could go anywhere. And like you said, we have 4 weeks to figure it out. So, or it could go after WrestleMania for all we know.
Yeah,
so
there could be something to happen. I think there's something that's going to happen though.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania, there's going to be some type of interference that's going to happen, whether it be a one-on-one match or a triple threat.
Yeah,
it's going to be some interference that Bianca is going to be sucked into, where Naomi's going to try to go ahead and cost her the match, and Jade comes in, fights, and it causes a whole big distraction. Bianca goes into emotional mode, and Io takes advantage, or Rhea takes advantage, whoever's going to be in that match.
But again, to me, it makes sense. There's no with the LA Knight Shinsuke Nakamura thing, it's because of personal family issues why they dropped it. That makes total sense to me. But with Io and Rhea, it's like, okay, if you're gonna put the belt on Io, let her keep it for a minute. Don't do the Braun Breaker Jey Uso thing where he had the belt for a minute and then he dropped it like 3 weeks later. Don't do that again. That made Braun look really weak, and they're working towards making him stronger now. And I know they just announced earlier that it's going to be Braun versus Penta for the IC title. So that should be an interesting match.
That is going to be interesting because now you take a look at Penta, who's an up and coming. I don't even think I think he's lost one, but he's just been dominant. But then again, you also have the power of Braun. Is it really going to? Yeah. Is Penta going to be able to overcome that?
And technically, Penta did lose that match, but it was a triple threat, and he didn't get pinned. So I don't. And that I'm like, okay, fine. He just wasn't in the ring when it happened. So
right.
But okay, and finally, our main event, John Cena finally cut his first heel promo, and I know he wasn't talking to me because I've been there since day fucking one. The prototype all the way to that goofy looking shorts he wore back in the day. He broke up with the fans saying that we are toxic, that we can get, we ask for too much and give nothing in return. How did that promo make you feel?
I didn't like it.
Really?
I didn't care for it. Initially I'm thinking, really? He's coming to the same crap? He's wearing the same crap? How? This doesn't make any sense. But as the promo went on and I started reading some reviews and it started making sense, it's like, all this has been built up for all this time.
Yep.
Trying to be the good guy, trying to, give the fans what they want. Now it's like, screw you. I'm going to do this for me. I'm thinking about me, and, you guys don't matter anymore.
Yep.
I like the overall heel. I mean, when you call out a kid.
Yes.
Kid.
Yes.
Even kid.
Yes.
You. Okay. He's gone all in. If he does have a face change anytime, it's not going to be soon. You cannot go this far.
Nope.
And actually have Michael Cole call you out and rant at you. You can't go this far and expect to just, oh, I'm sorry, and then betray The Rock a month later. No. This is going to be for a while. I don't think it's going to be the entire time that he's going on this farewell tour, which, again, another meme I saw was he may just say, screw you all. I'm not retiring. You don't deserve this. I'm going to still keep going.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, definitely. I saw that too. And I'm like, well, no. But
I like the whole you don't deserve this. You don't deserve a new theme. You don't deserve a new look. That's my music. And well, he's recorded other songs that could be a heel theme made into a heel theme. So, but whatever. But yeah, I'm glad he didn't come out as corporate Cena, like in a tie. And
God.
Like no. I heard that was possible. But I was surprised when they hit his music hit. And I was actually surprised when his music hit at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I was really surprised because at that point in time, I'm thinking, okay, he's doing this at the beginning of the show. That means something's going to happen during the show. And it didn't. So I was like, why don't you want to make that like your last thing? So I was kind of confused at that. But the same music, the same getup.
Yep.
And then Cody basically cutting him off after 2 words. There was no confrontation there, really.
No.
There was just Cody telling them, enough. Like, all of a sudden, that is the one bad word that Cody could say that shuts everybody up.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he did that to The Rock and Roman and their build up to WrestleMania. Enough. And everybody just shut up.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, I think there's going to be some cooking done.
Oh yeah.
The doctor.
Oh, they're not cooking that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, the doctor's going to come out and he's going to start cooking.
I I have a feeling we're going to see the Doctor of Thugonomics make a triumphant return. My thing, though, is he made fun of the "you can't see me" joke that's been going on for 15 plus years. The fact that he brought it up in itself, like, you guys have been making a joke about not being able to see me for 15 years. It's not funny anymore. And I'm like, dude.
Yes, it is.
Well, it is. But, in his mind, it's not because, I get it. The frustration has been building up for so long that was pretty much the boil over. It's like, fuck everybody. Let's kick Cody in the dick and we'll call it a day.
Another part with the promo that I didn't care for, it's like, when he left and came back, he basically wanted them to serenade John Cena sucks during his theme song. He wanted them to say he was over here being having the batons in his fingers and like, come on, sing it. Yeah. John Cena sucks. And he keeps telling everybody, listen, you guys are vocal. You tell me if you love me, you hate me, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden it's like it's hurtful. So it's like he's had a lot of built up. He put this whole facade on, but he still wears hustle, loyalty, respect.
But he did attack both sides of the fandom, though. He attacked the people that say he sucks, and then he attacked the people that say, let's go Cena. He attacked both sides of the spectrum, which is fucking brilliant.
He didn't leave anybody saved.
I felt bad. I really felt bad for that kid because they focused on him, and he was just this little poor little kid who's got the hat, he's got the shirt. It makes you wonder if they handpicked him before the show started.
I know, right? I'm like, say, please tell me they pulled him aside and said, listen, we're going to focus the camera on you. Here's some Cena gear. There you go.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus on you. Try not to cry because Cena is going to go absolute ape shit on everybody today.
And that kid, that image will be a meme going forward. I guarantee it. It will be a meme. In 20 years, you'll see him at wrestling conventions. I'm the kid that Cena called a little fat fuck or some shit like that. That's going to be this kid's life going forward. So, my hot take on this whole Cena Cody thing, I don't think that Cena's going to win at WrestleMania. That's my hot take. I don't think he's going to win it because it makes too much sense. Something's going to happen in this match, and we don't have enough information about the match yet to know what's going to happen. But I do feel like Cody is going to come out on top, and it's going to piss off The Rock and Cena. We might see a third member show up. That could be another thing in the show as well. I have a feeling that we're going to see Cena either win the Money in the Bank in July, or he wins the King of the Ring and goes on to beat whoever the champion is at SummerSlam. One of those two is going to happen. He will not win at WrestleMania. I'm calling it now.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree, and I think he will because this type of thing with The Rock, he came out on the short end of the stick when he backed Roman Reigns, his cousin.
He did.
He came out on the short stick on that one. Now he's back, even though he's been quote unquote pulled from WrestleMania 41, he's not going to make an appearance at 41, according to sources.
Oh.
But I do believe that Cena does come out on top. He wins number 17, but he doesn't hold it for very long. And I think Cody will go ahead and do one of those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Climb his way back, win Money in the Bank, win King of the Ring, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And faces Cena somewhere along the line at SummerSlam or afterwards, maybe more towards the end of his tour, and take back the title.
Now, they could be saying The Rock's not going to be there as kind of a swerve. They could say anything they want to say, and we're going to be like, oh, really? But I don't believe anything until it actually happens. Right. So it's one of those things where they could just be saying it to kind of take the pressure off of The Rock and more focus on, because the match is Cena and Cody, not Cena, Cody, and The Rock. So they could be doing that as more of a smoke screen to let us focus on that. And again, we have 4 Raws left until that goes down. Yeah, so a lot of cooking they can do.
Oh, the one thing I find compelling, and I agree, I think there's a third member that's somewhere along the line. I just don't know who that third member is, whether it be Jacob Fatu, whether it be Seth Rollins, whether it be Logan Paul. Logan Paul openly admitted, hey, my soul's for sale. And I don't know about Logan Paul, but I would love to see Fatu into some type of power trip going on, because I think he would be a really good incumbent to the tribal chief.
There have been rumors that there could be a female in that troop, and that female, now that I'm thinking about it, it would make sense. Becky Lynch.
Really?
Yeah. To where she shows up during Seth's match and turns her back on him or something. She ends up costing him the match in some way. And that was her initiation into the group, was to cost him a match. The same thing that Cena did. Cena had to pretty much accost Cody to get into this little group to sell his soul. So why not do it the same way with Becky? And again, I'm just spitballing. I have no input on anything. So, but this is just me thinking.
I get it. It would suck to see Becky as a bad guy again.
No, see, that's the thing.
She was never really a bad guy. She tried to play back up. Everybody loves her.
See, and that's the thing, though. When they had the probably the next episode, I'll talk about that list of the top 30 heel turns. They had the Becky turning on Charlotte, but I'm like, it's not a heel turn if the crowd is cheering for you. So when she smacked the taste out of Charlotte's mouth, I'm like, that's not a heel turn. That's just super babyface at this point, because nobody likes Charlotte. They liked her in the beginning, and they slowly kind of degraded down. But Becky's never really had a real heel turn. I think this would do it. This turning her back on her husband would totally do it.
I see that. I can see that, how that would work out. But I think the fear factor, and I think this is why Cena didn't change music. Creative went ahead and said, this is what everybody wants.
Yeah.
They want you to go ahead back to Thugonomics. They want you to go ahead and change everything about you. The fact that he went ahead and did the same thing I finally read the comments, I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Everybody wanted it. Everybody would cheer. But now if he comes out to the same old song, same old custom, you're right. So if she comes out to the same old song, same old custom, but goes ahead and uppercuts him in the nuts or something like that during the match, that's almost like Linda McMahon going after Vince.
Yeah, it really is.
And first of all, Linda would be the babyface at that point. But you know what I'm saying?
There are so many possibilities that could happen. And again, that's the beautiful thing about WrestleMania season, is that we have such outlandish ideas that come out. And I don't know if Triple H has his heart in the pulse going, oh, I heard about this on this podcast. Let's see if we can make that happen. I doubt that's the case, but it would be nice. It's like, if it happened, I'm like, well, maybe he's a follower. We'll never know.
we gotta see what's Becky's schedule like, if she's still in Mama Land, or what's going on with her. Is she wanting to make her come back? Is she not wanting to come back to WWE? It's been very, very quiet, very tight-lipped, and that makes things. You know what? Now with all that makes things so awesome, because nobody saw CM Punk coming.
Nope.
Nobody saw Cena heel face or heel turn at the Elimination Chamber. Nobody saw that, and it was all tight-lipped. As a matter of fact, The Rock went ahead on the. I mean, speaking out of character.
Yeah.
He was just being Dwayne at that point in time in the PR. It's like, we didn't know it was going to happen until
right before
Cody made the move, and it's like, all right, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
And
it's the same with the Taker streak. They didn't know it was going to happen until like halfway through the match, when Taker was concussed, and they're like, okay, bring it home, guys. He's, Brock, you're getting the win. And, and that was definitely a, oh my God, I cannot believe I just saw this happen moment that nobody thought that would ever happen.
That's a meme with that one guy. Just his
that's
a meme right there forever.
Agreed. Yeah. But we can agree that I'll add this as the last thing, is that it seems like the hype for WrestleMania 40 was off the charts. It was just unreal. We definitely had some people come back. We had Taker. We had The Rock there, of course. Excuse me. But for 41, and again, I know we still have a month, and WrestleMania is happening like 2 weeks later than what we're used to this particular year.
Yeah.
So Do you think that WrestleMania 41 could be bigger? Because 40 was huge. I mean, it was emotional. Cody finally finished his story that he should have finished a year ago. This was the first WrestleMania under the Triple H regime, and it did not disappoint. Do you think this year could be just as good, if not better than last year? And again, we still have a month to cook. So what do you think about that?
But the one thing you had last year was you had Cody finish the story.
Mhm.
He get done in 39. So it's like, all right, you got another chance to do it. Well, let's finish the story. I don't know if you can get bigger than that. I know WrestleMania is going to be good.
Yeah.
Maybe even great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to hold up to the hype that 40 held up to. I mean, definitely, they can do a lot more hyping. They can do a lot more, swerves going on.
Yeah.
Stuff like maybe the Raw or the SmackDown right before WrestleMania. Like, I didn't see that coming. And all of a sudden, something gets added to the match or some stipulation. But like you said, it's a 2-night event. There's 6 matches that are lined up. Both titles for the men, both titles for the women.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. One for the woman. No, both titles for the women. You have a singles match between Orton and Owens and a triple threat match between Reigns, Punk, and Rollins for, I guess, for the rights to Paul Heyman, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that right there, I think is the most, to be honest with you, out of all the matches, that one actually doesn't hold my interest as much as the triple threat. That doesn't hold my interest as much for some reason. I don't know why. Do you agree? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Which match were you referring to?
The Reigns Punk Rollins match.
See,
I feel that's the weak one out of the 6 so far.
See, I disagree. I think the Jey Uso Gunther match I have zero interest in that match because I don't think Jey deserves to be in that spotlight yet. I don't think. Yeah, he did his time as a tag champion, which is fine, but I just don't think I don't see Gunther losing this match. I don't, and
if he does, you're probably going to be.
I'm gonna be pissed. I mean, legit pissed. I'm like, why? But it's the same as last WrestleMania when Sami Zayn beat Gunther to win the IC title. I'm like, granted, he held it for over 600 days. It was about time to drop it. But Gunther's only had the title for what, 6 months, maybe?
Yeah, but this is the world title. This is not like
this is different.
Continental.
Yeah, this is different. So, I mean, that match, I mean, yeah, it seems like Gunther is always on top of Jey, which is telling me right now that Jey is probably going to win this fucking match. And I'm like, ugh.
Unless the next couple of weeks, Jey comes out on top and gets the better of Gunther.
Or if somebody screws him over in the match itself, like somebody from the bloodline or something, from the new bloodline, not the old, obviously.
Right. I'd see Solo coming in and trying to get jealous.
Yeah.
I think Solo wants some gold too now.
Oh, yeah. Either Solo or Jacob or somebody from that little faction now that's slowly imploding within itself, and that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, like I said, we've got 4 weeks to figure it out, and
I think everything's going to start getting tied together.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this next week's coming up. I think we're going to go ahead and get a little more structure, a little bit more. Let's trust the Triple H storytelling rules here and see how it works.
Yeah, I agree. Triple H has not let us down yet. Every show has been phenomenal from prior to WrestleMania last year all the way up to now. Every show has been great. It's, we may not agree, but there's always a bigger picture. As Master Qui-Gon Jinn always said, there's always a bigger fish. So, with yeah, no, I'm not a Star Wars fan at all. Like, you can't see the 3 posters in my room right now. So no, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I like Star Trek better. Actually, I like both, but that's a whole different story. We will end the episode there because there's a lot of unanswered questions that we hopefully will have answered the next couple of weeks. You want to go ahead and promote your podcast and shows, sir?
Yep. Monday and Wednesday, the Charles Richardson Show, live on Facebook and YouTube. You can just search my show name, The Charles Richardson Show, like my page on Facebook, and it's a separate channel on YouTube. Go ahead and filter in, and we'll be starting to add affiliates, audio only on the internet radio scene. Our flagship station, Power One Radio, great dance hits of the 80s and 90s 24/7. We're airing there as well, Monday and Friday. Excuse me, Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time for 2 hours. That's
a station they can get behind. That's some good music right there. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my bread and butter right there. Back in my 20s, let's dance to some Men Without Hats, the safety dance. Let's do this. So,
showing your age there.
Well,
I'm right there with you.
The gray hair, it's there. You just can't see it very well. I don't have the light on my ring.
Hair. Come on now.
Oh yeah, well, I have it in my beard too. I just shave it off so that way I pretend it doesn't exist. But yeah, definitely give him a like, and I definitely need to. Last week was such a weird week that I didn't get a chance to do much of anything except watch Raw and SmackDown. So I definitely need to give your show a watch. And Mondays are out because it's Raw, and my bread and butter is wrestling now. So I definitely gotta prioritize my podcast here.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about making it Tuesdays and Thursdays so I can watch Raw. But
there you go.
I usually catch it on Tuesdays afterwards anyway on Netflix.
It's a lot different than it was 20, 30 years ago when you had to watch it live. Unless you had a VCR and recorded it. That was pretty much all you had. Yeah. So it's definitely different. Oh, it's on Netflix. I'll watch it tomorrow.
and Netflix the next day, no commercials. I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I have
fast forward. It's awesome.
Oh, it's freaking beautiful. I love that. Well, for Mr. Charles Richardson, got it right a second time. I'm always awesome like that. This is the Jazz Zodiac podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us for this episode. And we have a lot more WrestleMania content coming up in the coming weeks. But until then, thank you. Oh, no, don't do that. For those that can't see, he's giving The Rock neck cut. Oh, no. Is there a third member coming? Oh, my, no. But that being said, I am the Jazz Zodiac. This is the Jazz Zodiac podcast. I want to thank you for joining us. And until then, on your left. It's the Josh Zodiac podcast.
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.